Mahalo to the following sponsors: Michael Bailey of Bamboo Maui Incorporated, Maui's eco-supplier of sustainable flooring including bamboo, cork, and hardwood flooring and woods. Located at 1878 Willie Pa Loop in Wailuku. BambooMaui.com. And Colin Lunt of Cutting Edge, manufacturing Maui's premier high-quality custom cabinets. Located at 1866 Willie Pa Loop in Wailuku. Thank you so much. Welcome to Life on Maui. My name is Stephen Freid. My guest for today is John Cassel, architectural designer with an office in Paia whose focus is sustainable, healthy architecture that's good for people and good for the planet. Welcome to the show, John.
Steve, thanks for having me on the show. And thanks for helping us get the word out about sustainable building practices. It's important here on Maui.
Oh, critical. I would think it would be one of the most important elements that we're dealing with here.
Absolutely. Living on an island, we need to be really conscious of our impact on the environment.
Absolutely. You returned to architecture, which is your first love and passion after 25 years in the film business, building sets. What kinds of things did you design and what films did you work on?
I got started in my teens building sets for the Renaissance Fair. We used to build an annual Elizabethan English village, and that was so much fun. We got to design it, build it, and then live in it, and it was fun.
Where was that?
That was in Agoura, California. It was the original Renaissance Fair in the United States. Yeah, and it was so much fun. From there, I went into the film business for 25 years. I built so many different things. I got started with a movie called Beastmaster, where we did an old mythic village and a pyramid. Do you remember Beastmaster?
I remember. I used to own a video store, so I do remember Beastmaster.
Yeah. And then, so many different things. Built a volcano for the movie Vibes, an old movie. So many different things. A full-scale Gothic cathedral for Batman 2. That was a really interesting challenge. I learned a lot on that. And I guess my last show was Waterworld, where we built this huge floating island city off the Big Island. It was an amazing career and a lot of fun. I learned a lot.
The infamous Waterworld.
The infamous Waterworld.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. I called it Camp Waterworld. We were diving and building and having fun.
And in film work, you learn to be on time and within budget. That was a really important element. You were saying how, if you weren't on time and in budget, you wouldn't last too long. How does that help with planning building projects for you?
Exactly. There's a rigor in that business. As I was talking about, you could be maybe once 5 minutes late, but never much more than that. And too terribly over budget, you better be have a very good reason for it. And carrying that over into the construction business, there's a lot of construction projects that are built on time and on budget. Usually they're larger projects, but that same planning strategy can be brought to residential architecture as well, and especially ecological architecture. What it takes is having a very well-defined set of plans and specifications and working out a detailed budget and a critical path schedule. And then once the project starts, checking and updating the schedule and budget as you go along. And with that, we've found that by everybody having an understanding of what the end goal is and what the process is and the time is, that everybody's able to meet their mark, like in the film business, better than if they don't know when they're supposed to be there or when they're supposed to be finished.
So you've actually experienced this. You've worked on some big projects, and you've actually experienced it coming in on time and on budget. And this is a big thing for you. You really want to carry that over, and you are carrying that over to your practice here for residential.
We're starting to develop it. Not every project is on time and on budget. We have some projects that we've had that we were designing into it a year after the project was doing, at the owner's request, you know, continuing to evolve the project, and that's a different thing. But I've also worked on high-rise buildings where, you know, when the crane picks up a piece of material, there's two guys waiting 25 floors up with their wrenches or hammers in hand, ready to install the piece that's coming up on the crane. Those projects are really well managed and well scheduled, and some of that can be brought over to residential construction as well. But for sure, in order to stay on budget and stay on schedule, you need a well thought out budget and a well thought out schedule at the beginning of the project.
So architecture is your first love.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here you are, you've cycled back to architecture, and you're big on using local Maui craftsmen.
Yeah. There's some fantastic craftsmen here.
You've said some of the best in the country.
Some of the best in the world. There are some world-class people here, and that's actually a tradition in Hawaii. I have family on Kauai, and there's some amazing craftsmen over here, beginning to know, you know, the ability of some of the craftsmen here. There's some great people here.
Oh, what a pleasure! And also, very important to you is using local materials such as cypress and eucalyptus, which are invasive species on our island to some extent, correct?
To some extent. Well, the eucalyptus certainly is. That's an invasive species, and some of the wood that we're having milled for our projects, the eucalyptus is a good example. That wood is certain varieties of it are disease and rot resistant. So when we put them in the project, not only are we utilizing a local product and local forestry people to harvest that wood, but also we don't need to coat it with toxic chemicals because it's disease and rot resistant. It's a great building strategy for eco-friendly building.
And this creates a wonderful ecological cycle. Describe what that cycle is.
Well, it is a wonderful cycle. Thanks for asking about that. It's where the first step is we're taking these invasive species out of the forest, and so that's helping the rainforest or the forest here, the Hawaiian forest and the Hawaiian plants, to thrive. We take those out, and then the people who take them out and mill them, that's helping to recreate a timber industry here in Hawaii.
Which hasn't been active for a while.
Hasn't been active for a while, and this is a way of getting that timber industry started. And these guys who are doing this are great. They're very passionate about it, and they're not only using invasive species, they're also using you know, wood that was thrown away or cut down, or naturally fallen trees. And so they're taking these out. So it's getting these guys, helping them to get their lumber industry started that's local lumber. So that helps the local economy here and our local, you know, what's going on locally here. Also then what we're doing is we don't have to ship that wood in from overseas. So we help to lower the carbon footprint of the project because we don't need to ship that wood from overseas, so all of a sudden the product's very ecological. And probably, probably one of the most important things is a lot of the hardwoods that show up over here are taken from rainforests that need to stay intact overseas, whether it's South America or China or Russia or Indonesia. So we're really helping, you know, every stick of wood we harvest that's invasive or naturally fallen here on Maui helps the whole world ecology.
Yeah, this is fantastic. So not only removing invasive species, it's often disease and rot resistant, it increases the lumber industry here, protects the rainforests around the world, and no need to ship here, so you're not using fossil fuel. This is incredible. And there's another aspect that some of the wood you use is slightly blemished, but it goes along with something Japanese.
Yeah, that's a wabi-sabi. Certainly on certain projects we'll have wood that has imperfections, using some of the cypress from the Poli fire. That wood came out of here and then it was harvested, and some of it looked like it wasn't going to be quality enough for the project, but the owner thought that wood was just right for that project. And so that's appreciating the defects in that. That's just one example of it. We try to do that more and more to get the owners to really appreciate they're using natural materials, whether it's wood or stone, and appreciate their natural, just the way they are naturally, instead of honing them to a perfect material.
Yeah.